The only reason she keeps crawling back still is because she doesn't have anything. She lost everything. That's on her. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Ex-wife's open marriage request revealed her affair with her boss. Both got terminated. My cheating ex-wife was still trying to get me to take her back. She's jobless still. Her affair partner is trying to make it work with his family, and she told me that she's contemplating offing herself via text that I ignored. I've told her to F off. Years down the drain with that woman. I met my ex-wife Claire after working with her firm as a consultant. I'm a surveyor, and the engineering firm she works for hired my team to perform some survey work for a few projects. Claire works in the HR/receptionist department at the firm. I got very familiar with Claire because I'd also talked to her about billing and getting paid. This firm actually had a very, very hard time paying me. They didn't really obey the contract that was written. Now, in fact, the first job I didn't get fully paid. Claire claimed because they didn't get paid yet, so they couldn't pay me. The only reason I stuck with working with this firm was because they had a lot of work, but for some reason they had a hard time getting paid from them. This trickled down to me. At the end of it all, I got paid and continued working with them. Me and Claire, my ex-wife, got really close. We talked all the time, and she tells me how she's dealt with this with other consultants, but she can assure me that I will for sure get paid. That turned into a talking outside of work. How we ended up talking outside of work is because I dropped off some cookies at their office. This is something I do as a consultant for a lot of companies. I send them gifts around Christmas time just as a thank you, and it's just a good gesture to keep work going for yourself. It's work for me. A little secret I picked up years ago. So Claire worked at the front desk. She was the HR, receptionist, handled billing, picked up calls, etc., until I got her fired. But she was the first person I saw, and I introduced myself, and she ran over and hugged me and said, "Wow, we talk on the phone so much, but to finally see you is great." I said, "Yeah, a lot of calls. Sorry if I seemed upset at times," and she hushed me really quick and told me not to worry and how she understands. I have to keep my business going and it takes money to do so. She apologized again for the company delaying my payments. I handed Claire the box of cookies that I got for the office, and I thanked her for business and told her that I hope that we can continue working. And she smiled and said, "I'm pretty sure we will. I've heard nothing but great things about your company. You guys did great work for us. Actually, you want to meet the team? I can walk you around if you want." I said, "Absolutely, that'll be great." We walked around the office and I met everyone. Great conversations, talking about sports and all types of random stuff. Then one of the partners at the firm asked if I had time to sit and talk. I figured they had more work and wanted to possibly get me on board. I said absolutely, I had a ton of time. I didn't have to work that day. My office was closed. I let everybody go home early for Christmas break. Luckily, I was able to give them their bonuses I like to give every Christmas. So I'm sitting down, I'm talking to one of the partners, and he's basically asking if I'd like to come work for them. Basically, asking me to quit my company just so I can go sit in their office and work for them. Offered me a management position, and I'll be over some department that they basically just made up. That's not real, but they want to add to their company. Now, it's been a while since I hit this number, but twice my company has peaked at $1.1 million in a year. On average, I make between $600,000 to $900,000 per year for the company. My workers are students and one other licensed professional. Students that prove that they can do the work, and they're going to school for the same thing. But I take students from a community college that has a co-op program built into their school program. So, for a semester, students go to school, but for another semester, the students are working full time. I have 5 every semester. Most of them go on to work for another company after they graduate because companies will pay them more, but they gain a lot of experience with me. A lot of them go on and make a lot of money. Actually, every student that's worked with me has gained so much great experience that they've become managers and leaders of teams that are companies and make great money, if not six figures close to it. I don't pay these students that type of money, but I do pay them well. I don't have to worry about paying for insurance either, as far as health insurance, because they already get insurance through their school. It's a requirement. So just for a little advice, if any of you guys out there have a consulting firm and you want to look at saving money, try joining your local colleges. See if they have any co-op programs. These programs are in need of companies to hire the students. The main thing is the students need experience. You don't have to pay them a ton of money while they're in school, but you give them enough experience, knowing that they're going to go off and go somewhere else and make a ton of money, or possibly your business might grow, and you may want one of them because you know their skills. At the end, everybody's being helped, and you're making good money with your company. The school looked good because they can now say 99.9% of our students get hired. But I had to let that partner know at that company where Claire worked at, I was not interested. I do very well for myself. I'm not about to give that up to sit in the office to make a little over $100K per year and have to be on your time. I can make my own hours. I can do what I want now. I go to work every day and I show up in the office every day. There are times where I don't have to travel to go out and do anything. If so, I'm on the phone making calls, getting business. I like how I work, and I like working for myself, and I'm not trading that to sit in somebody's office. And by the way, this partner was telling me that I couldn't work anymore with my company because it's conflict of interest. I couldn't run it if I worked for them. I literally sat there and asked him, how much sense does that make? He laughed about it and said I thought I'd give it a shot. I told him, okay, I guess I understand, but no thank you. I thought they were going to stop working with me because of that. Nope, I continued working with them for a while. I don't know if he assumed that I only made a certain amount of money. I don't know. Maybe he thought that they were my only partner. I don't dress like I make a ton of money or anything. I don't drive in a fancy car. I wear jeans and a t-shirt. Maybe he thought because I was begging them to pay me that I was hurting for money. No, I'm not. It also seems like I do everything myself. I actually hire a consulting company to handle my HR work, but sometimes I do jump on the phone and I speak with companies to promote my company. I don't have a marketer or a marketing team. I am that. But anyway, that's how I met Claire, physically. For a while, we just talked on the phone, so after that meeting, Claire gave me her card and it was her personal number on it. She told me to call her anytime with a smile. I knew what that meant. I called her that evening and we talked. I had to ask her, why did she want me to call her? Because I noticed the ring on her finger. She laughed and said, yeah, I put it there because maybe one day I want to be married, but I'm not married, nor am I in a relationship. You don't have to worry about that. I said, cool. And we continued to talk eventually. That turned into a date. That one date turned into several dates, and several dates turned into us being intimate. And the night we became intimate, we decided that we will be in a monogamous relationship. That monogamous relationship lasted for 2 years before I proposed to Claire. I had been to Claire's job a couple times for Christmas parties and other events. I had met the man that was sleeping with my wife. I didn't find out till later, but when I found out, I went a bit nuts on Claire. Claire demanded this big, huge wedding. Now I already own my home, and Claire did as well, but we clearly could have invested that money into something else. She just dreamed of having this big wedding. When Claire and I married, we both were 35 years old. She said her day had finally come, and she wanted to go all out, and even got to the point where if I wasn't going to contribute to anything, she was going to go into her life savings and go all out on this wedding. The ticket for this wedding $98,000. I didn't spend a penny on the wedding. Claire actually dug into her crate, got whatever money she could, and used credit cards for the remainder. I am not lying to you guys. This wedding's total cost, $98K. I told her it was dumb. We didn't need to spend that much. My idea of our wedding was only going to cost $1,000 in total. To me, my idea was beautiful, but it wasn't enough. She wanted more. She wanted to have a party. She wanted everything. Our wedding was so grand. I've never experienced anything like that, but it's what she wanted, and that's what happened. But I didn't pay for anything. Not even a honeymoon, by the way. The honeymoon wasn't part of the $98,000. Claire's father paid for the honeymoon. It was a cruise, and that's a funny story in itself. It's all ironic how this all happened. So Claire didn't pick the honeymoon, nor did I. Her parents did. So, our honeymoon was a cruise. We didn't really pay much attention to the details. We had the tickets on my phone, but we really didn't read into the details, and obviously her parents didn't either. Maybe they did. Maybe Claire actually knew about this and never let me know. I don't know, but check this out, guys. The day after our wedding, we fly down to Florida so we can get to our cruise. It was early. We were exhausted. We slept on the plane, but we were getting on the cruise, and we're looking at everybody, and everybody seems happy, which is cool. We're wondering where the families are. Where are the children? I just expected a bunch of kids probably being obnoxious, and I wondered if that was going to be annoying, but I didn't see a single kid on this cruise, thank God. It was just men and women. There were some couples, groups of girls. There were groups of guys. I remember telling Claire, like, wow, this is going to be an amazing group. We can probably go to the swimming pool and enjoy ourselves. Anyway, once we finally were able to get to where we were going to be sleeping, which took forever, Claire and I slept, all the way to the evening. We were beat. We then decided to get dressed and go check out some of the festivities that were going on. We went to the buffet to get food, and we saw that there was an event about to happen. A scavenger hunt. Decided that we will participate. Why not? Sounded fun. There was also late night yoga as well. Claire really wanted to do that. She said, let's try the scavenger hunt, then we'll go relax with the yoga and meditation. While we were eating our food, people kept approaching our table, asking if we were going to join the scavenger hunt and if we're going to the club later tonight. I said, club? This cruise has a club on it? I had no idea there was a club on this cruise. I said, why not? After we finished eating, we went to the area where the scavenger hunt was to begin. This guy is talking for about 10 minutes, giving us the rules and everything. My wife and I are standing there wondering why everybody in the room was wearing a robe. I think there was one other couple that didn't have robes on. We thought it was so strange, and then we were thinking maybe we were at the yoga meditation area because they also give massages, but we quickly realized we are in the right place. All of a sudden, we heard the guy that was talking say, all right, remove your robes and let's go. Everybody took their robes off and was butt naked. Claire and I looked at each other and said, what the heck? People started running around with their maps and joined in on the scavenger hunt. We were just in shock. The guy that was doing the announcement was just smiling. I said, what the heck is this? And I told Claire, well, this explains why no kids were invited on the cruise. Maybe it's just for adults only. We actually participated in scavenger hunt and found some of the prizes. I'm sure you guys can imagine the prizes. Let's just say adult toys. It didn't take much longer for Claire and I to realize that we are on an adult-only cruise. Not just an adult-only cruise, but everybody was sleeping with each other. I was so disgusted. I didn't even want to drink the water or eat the food anymore. People were gross, making out in the middle of nowhere, fondling each other. I was so disgusted. Claire thought it was hilarious and couldn't believe that her parents did this. I asked her, I said, does your dad do practical jokes? Was this supposed to be funny? She said no. They probably just didn't pay attention or didn't really realize what an adult-only cruise meant. I will tell you this, most of the time Claire and I stayed in our room. We come out for food, or we go out to the deck to get fresh air. We didn't get in that pool. Everybody was in it without clothes. Yes, it has chlorine in it, but it could have had man juice all in that pool and who knows what else. All types of bodily fluids. I was really disgusted, so much that I didn't want to touch anything. This cruise was a 5-day cruise. I was so happy when we stopped at places to get off and enjoy. I just felt like we could get away from all the nastiness. These people really were screwing each other. Some of them didn't know where the others came from. These were just people they found attractive, and they shared them with their partners. How ironic is this? This is Claire and I's honeymoon. She later wanted an open marriage that exposed her affair. I do often think maybe she knew about this, and maybe this is something she told her parents to send us to. Maybe to test to see if I'd want to do it. I was disgusted. So, the fact that she would ask me for an open marriage, it's just crazy to me. So let's move on to the big question. Open marriage and how that all happened. So Claire still worked for the same firm, and they were still a partner of mine. I had other clients, but I still worked with them. Claire started spending a little too much time at work for me. I didn't understand why she needed to. They fired some of the younger HRs and put all the work back on her. So, I understood that. But I did not understand her having to work an extra 10 to 20 hours over to catch up. I didn't think it was fair because they hadn't given her a raise in 3 years. She complained 3 years ago about having to do all the work herself. But the firm started hiring entry-level HR to help her. And it worked out. And it made sense. But now she's working all this overtime. So I complained about that. And I tell her that she needs to talk to her bosses and figure it out. Claire didn't complain as much about it. She said she actually enjoyed staying at work late. This is when I found out that one of her bosses would stay late as well. So, before she even asked for his open marriage, I had some suspicion. I just didn't go snooping. But when she asked me for the open marriage, that's when I did my research, and I found out she was sleeping with her boss. He was a manager there, but he was Claire's boss. Claire and I are having dinner, and while I'm halfway through my meal that I was really enjoying, Claire says, "We should consider an open marriage," and she brought up the cruise that we went on. I remember a lot of the couples there were so happy, Claire said. I guess it makes sense once you're with someone for so long, it kind of gets mundane. I'm not trying to say you're a dull person at all, hun. I'm just saying that things have gotten a little boring, and maybe we should spice it up a little bit. I looked at Claire, and I told her, you have to be out of your freaking mind. I'm not having any open relationship. You like the fact that these people were sleeping with other random people? That's so disgusting, and not what marriage is about. Claire says, well, we don't have any children yet. I just figured maybe we give it a shot before we really created a family. I asked Claire. I said, so, do you have a couple in mind? It's our freaking neighbors, isn't it? I knew they were some freaks. Something weird about them. That whole furry stuff is weird. Claire says, I wasn't even thinking about them. And no, I don't have any couples in mind. I'm not asking us to be swingers. I'm saying you go out and deal with someone, and I deal with someone, and we just keep it secret. We don't have to brag to each other about who we've been with. I said, so, who do you have in mind? Someone at work. I immediately thought about her working extra hours with that guy. She says, no, I don't have anyone in mind. And I'm not proud of me doing this, but right there I shattered our glass table. Claire was so afraid. She yelled for me to calm down and asked me if I was crazy. I don't think I'm crazy, but I was pissed off. I immediately went straight to her laptop, signed in, and started looking through emails. Bingo! I caught her. She was sleeping with the person I thought she was sleeping with. Oh my gosh, I was so mad at myself. Guys, you wouldn't believe how angry I was because I knew I had a feeling about it, and I never looked into it. Always trust your gut feeling. I went back into the kitchen where my wife was sitting there, almost in tears, and I apologized. I apologized for breaking the table. I apologized for snapping on her, and I told her it'll never happen again. She had no idea that I found out this information in the room. She didn't know, and I was on her laptop. I didn't tell her. I cleaned up the mess. She eventually fell asleep, and the next day, I went and saw a lawyer. I told my lawyer that I wanted to report my wife and her boss so that they can get fired. I told my lawyer this, and he told me to hold off until the divorce was final, and he had the exact plan for me. Throughout the divorce hearings in the beginning, my wife was silent. She wouldn't say a word to me. She didn't reach out or anything. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, begs me to come back, begs me to forgive her, begs me to go to counseling. I wasn't for it. I ignored her all the way I went with the plan my lawyer gave me. He told me once the divorce was final, he himself was going to send a letter to the partners of the company. My lawyer assured me that she probably would lose her job, but he couldn't guarantee that her boss would. To sum everything up, my wife and I divorced. Claire is now my ex-wife. She got fired from her job. Also, the boss did as well. So I found out that Claire still carried on an affair with her boss. She's now out on her butt all alone because the boss is trying to make everything right with his family. This is such a small city. My lawyer knows my ex-wife's AP's wife. He gave me all the juicy details. She tried to divorce him. He begged her, and he's doing everything in his power to keep his family together because his wife was a stay-at-home wife and mother. The courts don't care if a man loses his job. His responsibility is to take care of that woman the rest of her life along with those children, if they have children. Just how it is, but in my case, luckily, we didn't have children, so I didn't have to pay any alimony. But if I would have gotten her fired during the divorce before it was final, I probably would have had to pay her alimony, especially with the type of money that I make. We have a joint savings that we had to split. We were renting another home that she actually got to stay in, and I had to move out. I wasn't too concerned about that. I stayed with my brother for a little while before moving back into my place. I'd missed that place anyway. I still own it, but I like to switch it up every once in a while, live somewhere new. So, I rent where I live, and what I own I rent out. Oh, and the time I smashed the table, my ex-wife brought it up in our divorce hearing that I assaulted her, saying that I slammed the table on her. This is after I kept denying her request to get back together and go to marriage counseling. She told the judge right there in that room that I smashed the glass table on her. The judge asked me why she didn't contact the police and file a report. She told him that she was afraid. Judge wasn't buying it. He moved on to what he was going to say. He knew she was lying. If I smashed the glass table on Claire, she'd have cuts all over. I smashed the table while we were sitting at it. Yes, I did, but none of us got injured. I made sure she wasn't injured that night. Anyway, I'm a divorced man, and I'm very happy. I'll never marry again, and Claire can't seem to understand that.
The only reason she keeps crawling back still is because she doesn't have anything. She lost everything. That's on her. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You did the right thing by leaving her, man. It is ironic how you guys went on that cruise, though. I don't know. I'm wondering. So, all right. So, this is what I'm thinking. She told her parents that's where she wanted to go and pretended like it was a surprise. She knew. She told her parents that. Maybe, just maybe, the parents didn't really pay attention. And, they bought the tickets or whatever and did all that stuff, but they didn't really look too much into it. Probably, or maybe they did. Maybe the parents are freaky. I don't know. Anyway, I think she knew, and she was trying to see if you were down for the get down. She was trying to test you. I believe that. I do believe that. But dude, you did the right thing, man. You found out she was cheating. Broke the table. Man, I'm glad nobody got cut because you could have gotten in trouble for that, slamming a glass table. Dang. But you divorced her, good. She's out on her butt. Their partner's gone. She doesn't have a job, it sounds like. I guess she couldn't find another one. I don't know. But yeah, she's gonna come crawling back if she needs something. That's just what they do. When they come crawling back, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with how they feel about you. They love you. They want something from you. It's probably money. She needs shelter. It's something like that. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm gonna catch you guys at the next one.